welcome to What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. I am Luca and I'm joined by Laurie Blake. Here's what's coming up on today's show.
We'll be reacting to the reaction to Deadpool's reaction to Free Guy.
We'll be looking at What's On at Cineworld Cinemas, including The Croods 2 and Space Jam 2.
And we'll be taking you through what you can pre-order tickets to at Cineworld this week.
But let's kick things off, Laurie, with, this sort of came out of nowhere, really. This is Deadpool's debut, sort of, in the MCU. So if you haven't seen this, Ryan Reynolds posted up a video to his YouTube channel, and it's him as Deadpool, alongside Taika Waititi as Korg from Thor Ragnarok and Avengers Endgame, and presumably the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder, reacting to Ryan Reynolds' upcoming movie Free Guy. And this is which is very funny anyway, because like Free Guy is a movie about an NPC in a video game who becomes sentient to the fact that he's in a video game, which is funny because Deadpool is a sentient comic book character who knows he's a comic book character in a comic book world. So that's quite funny on sort of a meta level. But this is Deadpool in the MCU in a weird way.
Yeah, it really doesn't make sense to me in that like, how did they approve this? That's the thing that really like blows my mind. Is like I guess also like Taika Waititi did the kind of like where Thor was during Civil War, was it? Like, you know, so they're
right, yeah, he did.
He's kind of pushed to sort of make these little offshoot things in the MCU anyway. So I wonder if him and Ryan Reynolds had like they're just a big bargaining chip here to play of like, well, the last one we did was really good, so let's do another one and it'll be really funny. And Deadpool's the perfect character to kind of express this through as well. I think that, you know, he is the kind of one who can exist outside of it, and it not necessarily be him being part of the MCU. But it'd be nice if it was. Like, I love the fact that it's all kind of self-referential and been like, you know, I asked for anyone bigger, but this is the guy they gave me. He was the only one who was available.
Yeah.
Everyone else I asked was unavailable. It's so weird. It's such a like when you just write it down, it's such a weird combination of things. It's Korg, it's Deadpool, and they're watching the trailer to Free Guy, and then he also pretends to watch the Cruella trailer at one point.
Oh, I love
Where
that
are
as
the
well.
dogs?
And there's some really good lines to this. I mean, I particularly loved Korg. Taika Waititi plays the villain of Free Guy as well, which is why he's here in this Deadpool thing. And he, Taika Waititi's on screen, and like Deadpool pauses it and says to Korg, "Oh, what do you think of Taika Waititi?" He's like, "Well, he's got 4 limbs, and his lower limbs are wearing gloves." Which I
give it 4 out of 5 avocados. I was raised by an avocado. I like his sort of like, how do you get it? Because he also gives advice on how to get into the MCU, and he's like, you just got to climb to the top of the mountain, and on the top of the mountain you realize that you didn't need to be there, and you fall back down, and you check your email, and you might have a message from your agent saying they want you in the MCU.
Yeah, even the video description has got like Ryan Reynolds has written, "It's your 2 favorite stars of the MCU tube," which was written. So this is like, it's very silly, but it's also very interesting as well, because the Molyneux sisters, who have done work on Bob's Burgers, have currently been hired to write Deadpool 3, which is thought to be, which is rumored to be Disney's first R-rated movie within the MCU. And I kind of feel like Ryan Reynolds putting on the Deadpool suit again to promote this movie, which, by the way, I think is a pretty smart move, because Free Guy has got a massive lot of competition, up against it at the moment. The film's been delayed several times over because of COVID and everything like that. Like Ryan Reynolds even makes a joke about that in the trailer. Deadpool does. It's like, I thought this movie came out ages ago, but here we are. And I think this is the most I've heard people talk about this movie since it was announced, really, and since like that first trailer and the poster was released, like way back when. So like, it feels like the best bit of promotion I've ever seen for a Ryan Reynolds movie coming out. It's really clever.
The Detective Pikachu one was really good as well, to be fair.
Yes.
His Detective Pikachu skit with Blake Lively was brilliant. But yeah, I think Ryan Reynolds is a master of kind of self-promotion of his own films. And like you said, I think Free Guy was kind of existing in that weird space of, like it says in the thing, is like, didn't this already come out? And now you're like, oh no, clearly not. But now I'm interested. Now I really want to see it. Like, and And I also it just hypes you even more for the prospect of Deadpool 3 and the prospect of Deadpool being in the MCU and the kind of the new world we live in terms of what Marvel has control of now.
Yeah, this feels like because this is MCU have handed over the character of Korg. Like Marvel Studios have handed over the character of Korg for Ryan Reynolds to promote. You know, there's a 20th Century Fox movie. It's owned by Disney. As Ryan Reynolds puts it, it feels like the last of the fire sale at 20th Century Fox. And so it feels like a real like show of confidence that they have got in Ryan Reynolds to go out there and promote this movie that's not an MCU movie, but we're using, you know, characters that are under sort of like the Marvel license and stuff. And, you know, we're then working on Deadpool 3. Ollie's pitch for Deadpool 3 last week, by the way, which I absolutely adore, is Deadpool versus Hugh Jackman. So it's not Deadpool versus Wolverine. It's Deadpool looking for Hugh Jackman, thinking he's Wolverine. And the big reveal at the end of the movie is Hugh Jackman has always been Wolverine in IRL. And
but wasn't that? I'm pretty sure that was what he sang at the Tonys that time, or the Oscars when he did the opening number. So yeah.
So I'm excited actually now more for Deadpool 3 as well, like you say, because of the MCU thing. Like it's weird to call this Deadpool's MCU debut because it's not really. But I think this is the smartest way. Because it's got fans so excited. It's got us talking about it. It'll have the comment section of this video talking about it. I can't get over just like how impressed I am at all of this.
And I think it's that I think like realistically, you've deployed something very smartly here. Like, you know, these are the two actors who are in this film already, and they just happen to play these kind of offshoot characters from the MCU in that sense of like Deadpool's never been in it, but like Korg is like a fairly minor role overall, and it just makes you excited for this idea that like Deadpool could just be out here hanging with the catering crew and like riffing around with like these are the guys who aren't like this is the B-listers of the MCU realistically, but Deadpool can have them in his little bits and bobs on YouTube and have loads of fun, and like this MC YouTube verse could evolve from this, you know. Like I would love to see Deadpool out there riffing with like all the different characters that they, you know, all the kind of like B characters, like him and Happy would be an amazing little like scene and stuff like that. Like I'd really love to see all that kind of stuff.
Well, speaking of Ryan Reynolds, he's back on the big screen this week with the release of The Croods 2, A New Age, a sequel that has been, 8 years in the making. To get to like the first film came out in 2013, and The Croods are back. It's got pretty much the same voice cast previously. Got Nicolas Cage, Emma Stone, Catherine Kinnear, Ryan Reynolds, Leslie Mann, Peter Dinklage, Kelly Marie Tran. Like this is a great voice cast, and we're in that summer holiday period now. We're in that back, the kids are out from school, school's out for summer. This is almost like the perfect film to go take your kids to.
And I think The Croods is one of those ones that I was surprised never got a sequel. Didn't get a sequel earlier, like I thought the original Croods film is actually quite a lot of fun and quite heartfelt, and had, again, like it's got a brilliant voice cast, all of the bits of the recipe to make a great kids film. And it's so weird that they just did, like, when the world is franchises now, it's so weird they didn't capitalize on that earlier. But, here we are. They've had time to think about it. So let's see what they put out of the bag.
And speaking of taking a while to release a sequel, like, bloody hell, Space Jam 2's here. Like, there was a period of time when Space Jam 2 felt like a foregone conclusion with how massive that film was back in the late 90s. And it sort of fell apart. It became Looney Tunes back in action, which I really enjoyed, actually. And I think for a while we just thought, guess we're just never going to get another Space Jam movie. And here we are. Space Jam, A New Legacy, LeBron James, Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Taz. A few friends of mine went to the press screening of this last week and loved it. I was getting text messages from them being like, wait till you see this movie. Like, you're really going to enjoy this.
Yeah, I mean, this looks like it's kind of going the Ready Player One route as well, of like dragging in everything in the Warner family as well. Like, this is really taking the lid off, going like, this is not just the Looney Tunes, who also, by the way, look fantastic in this film. Like that trailer, the way they've updated the cartoons to kind of CGI works phenomenally well. And, you know, I think because you get that sometimes in certain films where the character that you know and love kind of takes on this new look and you're like, oh no, Sonic the Hedgehog. Like Sonic the Hedgehog is the prime example of that. Like obviously they had to then go back and change it all. But yeah, I think it looked fantastic in this. And then we're gonna get these kind of like scenes where you see this kind of glimmer of this wider universe. I'm really excited for this. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I love Space Jam so much.
Oh yeah, such a good movie. I've got so much like nostalgic love for it, and actually modern day love for it as well. So I'll be checking out Space Jam: A New Legacy this week. And the reason why this is my pick for this week is because the other two films to talk about, one of which I have seen now at the time we're recording, the other one I will have seen by the time this video comes out. So I went to go see the unlimited screening of The Forever Purge, because we talked about on this show before that I really, really do enjoy the Purge franchise. And this was exactly what I wanted it to be. And I absolutely had a great time with this. It was just another excellent step into that Purge universe and that Purge world. And just really, like, you hear those sirens and stuff and you're just like, yes, I'm ready. Like, this is, I had a cracking time with it.
I think it's a great franchise. I think it just continues to up its game and continues to reinvent the wheel every single time they come out there. Like, I like the fact that the framework of the Purge is that kind of annual holiday, and they, while sticking to tradition, manage to do something new every single year, unlike my family.
So there's a link in the video description down below which has all the reactions from that unlimited screening, so check that out. And you can also check out the reactions to the other unlimited screening, the one I'm going to tomorrow at the time of this recording, so I can't give my thoughts out here yet, which is Escape Room Tournament of Champions. I fell into a bit of a trap with the Escape Room, the first one, because there were two films released around the same time, both called Escape Room, and like I'd heard really good things about Escape Room, so I found it like I found it like a DVD of it, and I watched it. I was like, oh, this is the wrong one, because this one ain't great. And then I saw the actual Escape Room, and it was really, really good. So I'm quite excited to see the sequel to this.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a lot of fun and like a kind of mind-bending puzzle in itself to kind of unpick and to watch the characters struggle their way through.
Yeah, there's that line at the end of the trailer where it's just like, oh no, we're still in the escape room, and like everything's like glitching around them and stuff. Like, it's, yeah, I'm expecting this to be a bit of a mind-bending one. I'm excited to see this at the unlimited screen tomorrow, but you can watch this as of today because tickets for it are available in the video description down below. And of course, you can always check out the other releases that are still on: Black Widow, Fast and Furious 9, Hitman's Wife's Bodyguard, and A Quiet Place Part 2. I mean, what a lineup of films that is. Particularly because I've now seen Black Widow, which I had a really good time with. It was so much, you know, we talked about the MCU earlier with Deadpool and that, but and I feel like I'm a broken record by saying I was just so excited to hear that fanfare come through the cinema speakers again. I legit nearly welled up when I just heard that thing and seeing like the little, just lovely, just being back.
It is cinema now. Is there anything more cinema than watching an MCU movie these days? I think like they are the peak of cinema, and yeah, like Black Widow, I think is just the film that I kind of wish they made it earlier. Like I really do wish they made it earlier, but I understand why they've only done it now, and I feel like it's a fitting send off for a beloved character.
It's a film I know that Ollie Davis is very excited about. He was telling me last week how excited he is to go and see this. Blackpink the movie. You can pre-book your tickets for it. And we've been pushing this a lot on this show, and that's because this is event cinema. This is true event cinema. It's only being screened on the 4th and 8th of August, and you can watch it in 4DX, and you can watch it in ScreenX as well. ScreenX, the big wraparound 270-degree screen that we've seen Cinemania loser Dan Layton take us through in previous episodes of What's On. I mean, I'm not a Blackpink fan. Then they're not made for me, and that's absolutely fine. But I like that people do like them. That's always a lovely thing. If I was a Blackpink fan, like if they did this for a Rob Zombie movie or something like that, if Limp Bizkit had a movie out like this,
if Less Than Jake was doing a
this is how I would want to watch this on the big screen, and that, like the 270-degree thing just seems like it would be an awesome experience.
Yeah, and I think this is the brilliance of event cinema is the fact that you know that everyone else around the country is doing the same thing, and you are kind of community spirited event, and you're going to be like watching it along with all the people who absolutely love Blackpink. And I think also the concerts are going to take a while to start back up, so this is legitimately the closest you are going to get to watching Blackpink at any time for a little while, so it's well worth going if you are a fan.
And lastly, let's take you through the upcoming unlimited screenings we've got coming for you at Cineworld Cinemas, starting on July 22nd with Our Ladies, then on July 27th, The Last Letter from Your Lover, and then on August 3rd, Stillwater. Of those three, The Last Letter from Your Lover is the one I'm sort of leaning towards. Like, I've been watching the trailer for that, and it looks like it'd be a really nice movie to go see. It's like that's the one I'm currently picking out as my fave.
So of them, I think Our Ladies looks like an absolute banger to go and see. It's basically Derry Girls, but Scottish, and that like the girls from a church school go to Edinburgh for like a school trip, and they plan like one big blowout night out, and obviously like they're a little bit horny on Maine, so they're looking for boys, and it seems like it's just kind of like it's got this nice sort of friendship story that goes right through the middle of it. It's a bit girl power, and it's really funny as well. It looks really fun.
Yeah, it looks like really good. The trailer for it's very, very funny. I'm quite excited to see that one as well. I think I'm going to still pick with The Last Letter from Your Lover though. Bit schmaltzy. I mean, it's basically Nicholas Sparks. Like, it is one step removed from being a Nicholas Sparks. But you know what? It's got a great cast, and I'm still very excited for it. But that's all we've got for this week's edition of What's On at Cineworld Cinemas. Please do get your tickets for the films we've discussed today using the links in the video description down below. I've been Luke Owen. That has been Laurie Blake, and we'll see you next week.